Hi guys, this is Fernando doing a short video for the more survivalists, in this case showing you the Victorinox GAK. GAK stands for German Army Knife. It was made by Victorinox from 1976 to 1986 and stayed in use until 2003 when it was replaced by the latest Victorinox Soldier Knife. The GAK is by now a bit of a collector piece. If you like Victorinox, you're a collector, you may have heard about it, but if not, you may be used to more of the red scales or color scales and the alloy scales as well, but you may not have seen this as much. It is getting a bit more expensive lately. I like it because it has that cool history on it, and it's also a very functional design as well. That is perfectly capable of being carried for daily use as well today, just as it was almost 30 years ago or more. The GAK was the first Victorinox that had the 108mm format, and the first one to also use nylon scales as well. It was made by other manufacturers, so if you come by different names when looking, and it's not just Victorinox, they are completely original and legitimate knives as well. Ator made them in Spain. There was other manufacturers as well. Miltech made them. After that, Victorinox released the civilian version of these knives, was the Safari with the red scales, and the Trooper that had the OD green scales, but instead of having the German Eagle, it had the Victorinox Cross. Again, cool piece, and especially if you find it for a good price. They are very well made, very well put together, not only by Victorinox but by the other manufacturers as well. Here you have another one. This was made by Ator in Spain. You see that? Take a look at that blade, 3-inch blade. Ator. I like it because it is bigger than your average Victorinox, and again, that history, you know, it's not just not just anyone carries one of these every day. You know, it has that cool factor to it. And if I meet you one day and we start talking about stuff and seeing what we have in our pockets and such, and you pull one of these, if you every day carry Victorinox GAK, you're a cool badass guy in my book. Very cool knife. Let's take a look inside, because as I was saying, it is not only the history it has, it's also very functional, clever, and sober design. You only have the stuff you need, not any gadgetry here. Victorinox, Switzerland, stainless Rothbury. Apparently, Victorinox thinks that stainless is good enough for a survival, general purpose military pocket knife. So does the German army. So, you know, strange thing. It's very sharp. I sharpened it using my nail file foam board method. Just a few minutes, a little drop of water and a bit of work, one direction and another, and in a few minutes this blade that was in pretty bad shape. Usually these have been abused by whoever had them back in the day. Some German soldier used them for everything and anything, and it filled the blade with notches and little breaking points and such. The blade, as I said, 3-inch blade, and listen to that, how solid, snaps into place. Great. Stays there pretty firm. Of course, it's not a locking blade, but in many cases you don't need one. So if you have a need for a general tool, this might be it. Again, solid snapping into place. And this specific tool was designed along with the German army. They requested this specific tool for Victorinox, and they later used it in our models. You have the saw, which is very good. I've been carrying this knife for some time now, and I found it to be, you know, very enjoyable. The saw may not be as great as the saw in the Leatherman or even the latest Victorinox designs, the latest saws in the newer versions of Victorinox. This gets stuck a bit more often. It does a good job in green wood. You have a cap lifter, a bottle opener, or it's also good as a can opener as well. Maybe requiring a bit more of force, but it will open a can as well. You have a screwdriver, flat screwdriver over here as well, with a good amount of reach, in spite of not being very narrow profile because of obvious reasons. You have the saw there. You have this little metal cover for those teeth. Then you have the screw, the corkscrew, which may not be very common. Back in the day, it may have been needed more often, or it's more a classic thing in the Victorinox series. I mean, back in 1976, people would have had maybe more use for this. And you also have the owl or rammer, which is, again, good size, good proportions, and will do a little hole in wood with little effort. If we look at the Ator, still very much the same knife, and there were several other manufacturers, so it's not as if you come by this knife and see that's made by Militech, for example, or some other manufacturers. There's a good chance that it's not a fake, but it's an original GAK knife. And as time goes by and these get a bit more expensive, I'm pretty sure that you will see the market flooded by fakes later in future years. So if you happen to come by one of these, and especially if it's for a good price, just go for it. Get your GAK Victorinox and have a cool piece of history in your pocket, and maybe use it once in a while. Folks, that's it for now. Just a little short review showing you something different, something cool, something that if you happen to see it, take advantage of the opportunity. Take care, consider subscribing, have a nice weekend, and see you in our next video.